Well, kia ora and welcome to the Harness Half Hour, proudly brought to you by Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. I'm Jess Smith, and this week on the show we chat to Sheree Tomlinson following her dazzling record win with Marcoola in the Ashburton Flying Mile. TV presenter Heather Vitale joins us from America about her upcoming trip to the Kaikoura Cup and New Zealand Cup meetings. And Swain of McMillan Equine Feeds talks to us about their barbecue on Cup Trial Day. Plus, bookmaker Richard Wilson is back with another bookie update. But first, here are this week's Harness Headlines. Marcoola stunned harness racing fans with his freewheeling win in the Ashburton Flying Mile for trotters on Monday afternoon. Sheree Tomlinson allowed the stallion to bowl along at his own tempo before the duo bolted home by 12 lengths in a new New Zealand record of 153.8. The Ashburton Flying Stakes was won by New Zealand Cup favourite Spankum. After a beautiful trip in the trail, Spankum defeated stablemates The Fixer and Self Assured, with Chase Auckland finishing home into fourth. Sunday's Tuapeka Cup went to Robin's Playboy, who overcame a 20-metre handicap to win the feature event at the annual meeting for driver Craig Ferguson and trainers Ross and Chris Wilson. And in Sire Stakes heats from the past week, in the 3-year-old boys heat, line-up was successful at Alexandra Park and Lulu Le Mans won the fillies heat in the north. While at Addington on Friday, Flying Even Better won his boys heat and Amazing Dream won the fillies event. Well, of course, one of the major talking points of Monday's meeting was the running of the Ashburton Flying Stakes and the phenomenal effort by Marcoola, New Zealand record, 12-length victory, and of course, Sheree Tomlinson in the bike. Sheree, congratulations. What kind of emotions went through you once you realised the impact of that win?
Hey, thanks a lot, Jess. No, it was a super win by Marcoola yesterday. I mean, it was great to see him back at his best, and he put in a top effort, and it was great to be sitting behind him.
What kind of feeling did he give you before the race, Sheree? Because he really appeared just to be in his own zone.
Yeah, he was actually. He actually warmed up really nice. He nice and relaxed and off the bit, which was good. And heading up to the gate, he was really focused. When the gate left, I actually had quite a nice hold on him, sort of thing. He just did it on his own steam out the gate, so there was no pressure for him at all. And no, he felt good the whole time he was on the track.
Did you just get to a point in the running, Sheree, where you thought you'd just let him bowl along and see what he could do? Yeah,
well, out of the gate, as I said, I just let him do sort of what he wanted with the hold on. And I mean, in the running, I still actually had a hold on him the whole way. Like, wow. I didn't really give him his head at all, and he just sort of, it felt like he just jogged it, really, to be honest. And, you know, a few people said to me, or I heard that a few people said, was he pulling? Why'd he go so bloody fast? But, hey, you might as well just let him go at his own steam. And being a stallion, it's great to have 153 beside his name. So, yeah, no, it was a fantastic thrill, and great for him to get that mile time for when he goes to stud.
Exactly, and it's always easy for people looking from the sidelines, isn't it? It's not until you're in the bike and making those decisions that you know that horse and what needs to be done.
Oh, 100%, yeah, there's no point strangle holding him, and even that could put him off stride, you know. It's just best to let him do what he wants. And as I said, you know, I didn't slap him up. I held him the whole way, sort of thing. So, I mean, yeah, people can sort of say what they want, but he just did it on his own steam.
Yeah, I think 153.8 and a 12-length victory speaks enough itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%, yeah. I mean, it's just great for the horse, really.
Yeah, oh, exactly. And, of course, you know, the dominance of that win brings back memories of, you know, the Dominion and what it means to your family as well, of course, with your uncle and mum and granddad and all the family involved.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're here 7 days a week, every day, putting in the effort like everyone else in the industry, and it is great to come out on top when, you know, he has had his ups and downs, Marcoola, and it's fantastic that like Clint has put in the effort to get him right, and it's just full credit to the horse. He must be just so tough to come back from Aussie, being crook, and you know, getting through everything like that, just to come back, and he's gone 2 very nice races.
Yeah.
Well, back up.
Exactly, and of course you've been in the sulky a couple of times now. Sheree, what is it like to be able to sit behind him on race day?
Oh yeah, he's a beautiful horse. I mean, you can't really describe it. Like, he he just feels like he just does it so easy, you know, and he's out there and you know he wants to be out there too. You know, he relaxes real nice in behind, and as soon as you ask him, he's sort of off, you know, and he just feels like he does it so easy. But I really felt a difference from Addington a few weeks back to from yesterday. You could feel him just a wee bit flat at the end. You know, he needed the run at Addington, and obviously yesterday, he was a different horse again.
Yeah. And is the plan now, Sheree, to head to Kaikoura with him?
I'm not too sure what the plans are there. I think they're just going to wait for the nominations to come out and see. He didn't go last year, so I'm not sure if they're going to change the plans and take him. I know Clint would really like to take him, being sort of like a home track to him and that, but I'm just not too sure what their plans are with that yet. They'll obviously make that decision today. Yep.
Oh, well, that sounds great. It'll be great for the crowd, but also understandable too if he's going to have a bit of a breather into the big week. And, of course, Dominion, Sheree, will you be in the bike for that? Has that decision been made?
Oh, we haven't talked about that, but yeah, we'll just see what happens. I'll just wait till if my name's there, or if it's not, we'll just go off the fly.
It could be a rather interesting family dinner leading into that.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I was shocked that Clint even jumped off in the first place. So, no, just take everything as it comes.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, as we say, for the Tomlinson and Ford family, this is a massive thing. But really cool that, you know, you've come all the way up through kids' karts and you've got a big season ahead. Of course, Australasian Young Drivers Champs coming up in the not too distant future as well.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, the kids' karts have played a great part in it. And as I tell people to this day, I think I've driven more naughty ponies than what I have racehorses. That's probably helped me out along the way, sort of thing. So, no, it's great. And, really looking forward to the Australasian Champs that are going to be held in New Zealand this year. So, it'll be great to drive on the grass against the Aussies, and then obviously going up north and spending a few days up there and then staying up for the Inter-Dominion. So, no, it should be a great time.
Oh, perfect. Well, Sheree, congratulations again. It was just awesome to see you guys clearing out to win that feature trot on Monday. Good luck for the big couple of weeks coming up for you and the family as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jess.
Time now for social media news headlines, where we go around the world and find out what has been hitting the headlines on social media. Starting off with New Zealand, in milestones this week, congratulations must go to Kimberly Butt, who trained her first winner when Lennox Bromack won at the Tuapeka meeting at Forbury on Sunday. You can see that on our HRNZ Facebook page. Plus, find feature race aftermaths from the feature meeting at Ashburton on Monday. And don't forget too to check out our previews from members of the industry on the Facebook page as well. And from Australia, Jimmy Rattray has withdrawn his 2 starters for the Inter-Dominion series at Auckland in December. For more, read Adam Hamilton's article on the HRNZ website. And from the USA and Canada, the Breeders' Crown was held at Mohawk in Canada over the weekend, where New Zealand bred Sha-Tin was a game second after leading in her mare's final. The team with Sha-Tin have reported she will now have a short spell before being aimed at the TVG at the Meadowlands at the end of November. For more on that, wait to hear our interview with Heather Vitale, and also follow Heather Vitale on Facebook and Twitter. Well, as many of you may have heard the exciting news following on from her first trip to New Zealand last year to the New Zealand Cup, Heather Vitale is coming back this week, this time for not only the New Zealand Cup but also Kaikoura as well. Heather joins me live on the phone from the US. And Heather, firstly, we've got to touch on the fact that you've had a pretty busy weekend up there at the Crown.
Oh, I did, yes. So I was just up at Woodbine Mohawk Park in Canada for Breeders' Crown, which took place over the entire weekend, Friday and Saturday. And it was extremely busy. I did a lot of work for them, a lot of red carpet interviews and post-race interviews. And I just got home on Sunday, and I leave on Thursday morning.
Well, one thing we do know, Heather, is that you're not afraid of hard work, of course, and you've been right around the world covering various harness racing events. You head to Ireland every year, isn't that right?
Yes, I go to Ireland every year, and actually something that I haven't really talked to anyone about, at least it definitely hasn't been put out there publicly by me, but I'm going to the Prix d'Amérique this year.
Wow.
And this will be my first time going. So, yeah, I'm going to France in January to cover the races there, and I am so excited about that weekend and that trip. I'm going for an entire week. So I actually get to see the city and the amazing, historic training facility they have there and everything. So I am so psyched.
Well, it's a little bit less fancy than the Prix d'Amérique, but Kaikoura Cup meeting, I know, Heather, that last time you were here, so many people told you that that's one that you had to put on the bucket list, didn't they?
Yes, and of course the racing is great, and then it's the lead up to the New Zealand Cup, which always makes it exciting, but the fact that it's so scenic. I mean, there's the Pacific right there, and I'm seeing pictures of this, and I'm like, I have to be there. I have got to figure out how I can work this schedule. And I thought, if I want to go to the Kaikoura Cup, then it seems silly for me not to stay at least through the New Zealand Cup. I'm seeing all these horses race at Kaikoura, and then, hey, I got to stay for the Cup. Now, I won't stay through show day. I'll leave before then, but definitely will be there for Kaikoura and New Zealand Cup day.
Well, that is understandable because it's not a short journey for you to get home. I know it took a bit of a toll last year, didn't it? Because you don't really realise until you're on the plane how long that flight is home.
Oh, I know. Going there, I felt like it was honestly like a hop, skip, and a jump. I mean, seriously. Well, I ended up going to Auckland for a couple days and then to Christchurch, but the ride down seemed so easy. Now, going up back home, it was a completely different story. And I'm gaining a day in my life. I'm leaving on a Thursday and I'm home on a Thursday, and I'm like, how am I so tired? Yeah. You have to stay 2 weeks if you're going to make that trip.
Definitely. And Heather, with your trip down to New Zealand last November for the Cup, what were your impressions about the weekend and what were some of the highlights for you?
Oh, wow. First of all, and I guess it's just because I consider myself a bit of a fashionista because obviously the racing was superb. So that's sort of like a given. So we're just talking about the extras around the whole day. I love that everybody is dressed up. I love the girls are paddocking horses in heels and dresses. All the guys look fabulous in their ties and their jackets. And they know this is a big day. They're looking forward to getting their picture taken. And, it's something really special. That I absolutely love that surrounding the day. And so many young people being at the track. The live music, and champagne just overboard, You say, if you have to say yes to life, you're saying it's a champagne, So you always do a champagne toast, no matter what time it's happening and how many times. So it was just so much fun that day. As far as other highlights, I loved meeting Grant Crabb, of course, the breeder of Chartin, and I couldn't believe I got to meet Christian Cullen. So I was in awe, I was starstruck meeting him. So anyway, those were some of the highlights. There were so many, I won't list them all, but those are just a couple.
Yeah, and it was great that you were able to experience not only the New Zealand Cup, Heather, but you headed along to the Greyhound Cup and also the Thoroughbred Cup too. Oh
yes, the Greyhound Cup was so cool. I have not been to a greyhound race in probably 2 decades. So being there for that was the atmosphere. It was super great. Yeah, I had a great time. Yeah, and the thoroughbreds, I had been there. Actually, I went there the Saturday before, which I guess they kind of consider the kickoff to Cup Week. That Saturday before, and then then I went that last day for the Thoroughbred Cup next Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm telling you what, Christchurch is that week. I don't know what it's like the rest of the year, but that week it's off the chain.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of events too, which I'm sure you'll be able to see with the city being rebuilt after the earthquake. There's a number of markets, a lot of nightlife too, which I'm sure people will be able to show you, Heather, while you are here, because I know you're about making new connections and meeting friends that you've made connections with from all over the world.
Yes. And it was funny because when I went to the pre-Cup, the Breeders' function, and I was standing in the front of the room getting ready to give the award to Grant Crabb, one of the Breeders' Awards. I look back, and there's Adam Bowden from Diamond Creek.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like, oh my gosh, people come together from all over the world to be at the New Zealand Cup. And I mean, there's no surprise why. Now that I've experienced it, I can see why it's one of those wish list / bucket list races that everybody needs to go to.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you, Heather, that the weather is looking amazing for Kaikoura. And for those of your fans, I know you've got a lot of them around the world, but are you okay if they come up and have a chat to you on race day and maybe get a selfie?
I would love it. I live for that. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Perfect. Okay, well, there's your invitation, guys. Make sure you head along to South Bay Racecourse. Of course, we've got the Twilight meeting on Sunday starting from 3 o'clock with 6 races, and then the big day, the Monday, of course, Kaikoura Cup. We've got the free-for-all trot and the age pace as well. And as I say, the weather is looking spectacular. Heather, I know you've got a long journey down and plenty of study to do before you get here, but before we say goodbye, Shartin, she was so brave in that Breeders' Crown for the mares. She just looked like this year's been so big for her. She's just maybe getting a little bit tired.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Honestly, there's no major issues. She's totally sound, but, she did that record mile at the Meadowlands where she became, the fastest female horse in the history of harness racing. But then after that, she ended up getting sick, and we scratched her from the Milton in Canada. And she still wasn't quite right at Lexington, and she got beat at Lexington. And then she still, she's just not 100%. She's just, I think, a little bit tired. So she has had all week off. She's having all of this week off, like doing nothing but just hanging out in the field, which honestly, she's not real crazy about that. She loves her work. So just sort of hanging out in the field isn't totally her deal, but she is going to have the whole week off and then just start getting ready, to go to the TVG. I mean, we still plan on going to the TVG at the Meadowlands. It's like later in November, so she's got a few weeks to get ready for that. But yeah, she's been racing. She started qualifying in mid-March.
Yeah.
Mid-March. I mean, here it is, October. Her first race was March 15th this year, and so she's just been going and going. She's had 14 wins, 17 starts, and, to see her be a little bit tired, I think it doesn't take anything away from her. I mean, she's not a machine.
No.
I'm still looking that she, is going to be Horse of the Year. Anybody that comes up to me and says differently, I have a rebuttal for anything that they have to say. I mean, of course, I am a little bit biased. She is trained by my stepdad, Jim King Jr., co-owned by my mom, Joanne Looney King, but she is, I believe, still the front runner for Horse of the Year, and for good reason.
Yeah. Oh, there's no denying it. She's gone the fastest ever time for a female in the sport. As you say, she's won 14 of 17 and been consistently at the top of her game, not only this year but last year as well. And here's hoping. We've got everything crossed. But Heather, I know you're very busy and you need some downtime, so thank you so much for your time and cannot wait to see you at the end of this week. Bring on Kaikoura.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. And I have about 10 outfits picked out for the Kaikoura weekend. So I hope there's a big closet wherever I'm staying.
Yeah, well, there's fashion in the field, so you'll be having to enter, of course.
I'm so excited about this weekend, and I can't wait to see you.
Yeah, you too, Heather. All right, we'll let you go. Get your rest, and we'll see you fresh off the plane in a few days.
All right, thanks, Jess.
Airpark Canterbury is Christchurch's only 24/7 privately owned off-site airport car parking. If you feel strongly about supporting privately owned business, support Airpark Canterbury. It's only a short drive to the airport in the Airpark Canterbury free shuttle. So if you want the cheapest parking option around, try Airpark Canterbury. Call 0800 Airpark or online at airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
We're joined today on the podcast by Swain, of course, of McMillan Equine Feeds and major sponsors of a number of things, including the Sire Stakes. But Aaron, I know you're at the middle of a sale there at Te Rapa. Thank you so much for your time. Naturally, it's going to be a busy time of year for you and the team.
Yeah, no, she's a pretty busy time at the moment. We've got plenty going on anyway, so even the racing side as well as the equestrian side. So it's plenty busy in the next couple of months. So yeah.
Yeah, and of course, a big reason why we wanted to get you on the podcast is that you guys are doing great things with Cup Day trials as always. You've got the annual barbecue coming up.
Yeah, no, that's right, Jess. We've got the barbecue there on the Cup Day trials, so we just like to feed the empty tummies that are around for the trainers and drivers. So if you're in the area, owners, anyone up there, come down for a sausage or a patty or whatever, and make yourself known. And if you need to know anything, we're more than happy to help out.
Yeah, and it's such a busy time of year too, isn't it? And historically, the Cup Day trials is such a busy trial meeting that it's a nice little treat for people that are on course.
Yeah, it is, Jess. There's a lot of stress and pressure on this time of year, especially with the trainers and everything getting all pressured out. So just if we can help out wherever we can, even if it is cook a barbecue lunch for them, every little bit counts.
Yeah, most certainly. And of course, we mentioned Sire Stakes for McMillan Equine Feed. Relatively new-ish sponsors to the fold there, but it must be a big thrill to be involved with that.
Oh, it's great, So it's just a great franchise. It's always been there for years, and everyone knows what the Sire Stakes is. And just to be involved in it and be the major sponsor, it just goes a long way, and it just shows our thanks to the industry for all the support and everything. So yeah. Yeah,
and of course it reaches beyond that too. You guys like to support the junior drivers and the youth of the industry.
Yep, that's right. So we not only the big top level there, which we support the industry, we go down as low as the grassroots. So the junior drivers, we sponsor them as well as the likes of your kids cart. So whatever we can, wherever we can, we try to help out whenever.
Yeah. And just quickly, Aaron, a bit about your background in harness racing. Has it been a lifelong thing for you?
Just the family, so the whole family really. You just get born and bred into it. It's like they all say it's a disease, so it is what it is. And but no, we went out on my own there a wee while ago. But I'm still doing a few anyway. So it's quite good to be heavily involved in the industry, and it gives me a good background and know a few people, which helps along the way as well. Yeah,
and you've also been involved with getting a lot of new people in ownership, which must be a real buzz.
Yeah, no, there's still plenty of people out there that ring up for some ownership and whatnot. So it's good to know there's people out there. It's just trying to find them out there and advertise the right way, I suppose. So and I know what harness racing themselves are doing as well is always good to get the new owners over.
Oh, exactly. And of course, back to the feed side of things, I know that you guys are very proud of the fact that there's a lot of testing that goes into the product, and the grains themselves are New Zealand grown, so you can't get much more local than that.
No, you can't. Just like I said, we support our farmers in New Zealand as well by using all their grains, and we try to keep it as local as we can, and even like the oil is all cold pressed canola oil as well. So whatever we do, we've got the organic trace minerals in there as well from Zimpro. So it's easy and natural sort of on that sort of homegrown feel is what we sort of aim for with our McMillan feeds. So and if anyone needs to know anything about it, you just get in touch with us and we'll tell you whatever you need to know.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, because you've got a nutrition specialist on offer for anyone that might be a bit unsure, because there's so much choice these days, it's quite hard to know sometimes the right product for your horse.
Oh, that's right, and it's not only trying to get onto the feed, it's sort of just trying to help the trainer decide what the best thing to feed, and they could be using 5-6 different feeds, and we could help them cut it down to just a 2 or 1 even, just getting the right information to them as well. So we've got a great team out there all throughout New Zealand, and there's a few of us here in the North Island, and there's about 3 or 4 of us down in the South Island. So and if you can't get a hold of us, we'll be able to manage to find some way around it. So yeah.
Exactly. Well, probably one of the easiest ways, if you are wanting to catch up with Aaron and the team at McMillan Equine Feed, barbecue cup trials, of course, that lunch. So make sure you head along and chat to the team about any questions you have. Aaron, thank you so much for your time. Keep up the great work, you and the team, and all the best for the rest of your day up there at Te Rapa.
No, that's cool. Yeah, that's going to be a big day ahead anyway. So, but thanks for having me on. So just anyone that wants to know anything, feel free to come down and have a yarn with us.
Hi, Razor here from Canterbury Rugby. When you need airport parking, choose a team that's on the ball. Meet at Airpark Canterbury and get their free Mercedes shuttle to drop you right off at the terminal. Airpark Canterbury have the cheapest 24/7 airport parking and you'll never get left on the sidelines. Give Airpark Canterbury a try, airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, of course, we all enjoy a long weekend of harness racing, but spare a thought for those who don't get a break at all, the bookmakers who were frantically putting together markets over the last 4 or 5 days. Richard Wilson is joining me again, as he does every week. Richard, how did the long weekend go for you, starting off with the unique meeting there at Oamaru on Thursday?
Yeah, Oamaru Thursday, something new. It was a very, as you say, a long week. It was races most days, and a lot of changes to futures markets after a lot of the races too, so it was quite a busy week. On Thursday there at Oamaru, some good clicks for punters off 3 of the winners in particular. The first was Diamond Party, race 3, $1,000 on there at 480, 400 at 380. They were the best, but there was a whole big stack of bets on her. The next one, Darryl Kerrigan, that was in race 4, 1800 at 370, 4,000 to run top 3 at 160, $472 bet at 340 were the best on him. And then the last one, Overarm, kept some very consistent form with a win in the last race, $500 bets at both 330 and 320, and then another 800 at $3. And a couple of decent misses there that helped us out. Pink Flamingo Run, heavily backed against Diamond Party. There was 3,600 on at 240, 1,000, 1,500, 2,500, and a $3,000 bet all at the 210. Chevron Flies attracted some very large bets here in race 6, 9,000 at 170, 1,000 and 8,000 at the 160.
Okay, and from Thursday, of course, which was Oamaru, Friday night we had the 2 big metropolitans going head-to-head. Starting off with Addington, looks like the punters were informed there, Richard.
Yeah, at both meetings really, the multi-punters in particular had a good night. Storm was very well backed in race 4. There was $2,000 on there at 350 and 3,000 at 310. 2,200 on Miss Moppet at 290. A couple of $600 bets on as well at 270. A Delightful Act justified the short quote race 9, 1,200, 2,000 and a $9,000 bet all on him at $1.50. And there was 2,000 in the last on Letterkenny Boy at 220 that sort of topped us off a bit there. A few misses though, fortunately for us. The Sire Stakes heat was an interesting one. 3,200 on one change at 230, 1,000 and 2,500 at 220, and there was a $1,000 bet on Italian Lad at 290. So them bowing to the stablemate, flying even better, was pretty good for us. There was $2,000 bet on Tanique de Fou at $6, and Qatari Alande, very popular in the last race, 1,500 at 550, 2,000 to run top 3 at 205. 550 at 480 and $1,000 bets at both 460 and 450.
And as you mentioned, Richard, the form continued for punters at Auckland.
Yeah, the favourites were having a good night there, and so multi-punters did well. Some decent single bets as well. $1,000 at $5 and another $1,000 at 480 on Flying Finn. Line-up very popular race 6, 2,000 at 250. 3 $1,000 bets at 240 and also a little $750 bet at the 230. $300 and $500 bets on Silver Power at 6, and she was well backed in the head-to-head market on that race as well. $1,500 at 175 and another 1,000 at 165 just to beat Tubrick, but of course winning the race we had that under control. Not many big bets going our way, but there were a few in race 4. Megastar very heavily back there. 5,000 at 340, 10,000 to run top 3 at 150, $500 bets at both 310 and $3, and then 2,000 at 290.
And then, of course, it was a rarity and a nice rarity for the Fulbury Park venue to see daytime harness racing, particularly on a Sunday with the annual Tua Peka meeting. Were the punters enjoying it just as much as the public, Richard?
They were sort of having a Sunday off a little bit, I think. A bit quieter there. The $1,000 bets were rolling in, but not much over that. $2,000 bets on Orlando Magic got the day off on the right foot there at 230 in race 1. There was 1,100 on Spirit of St. Louis at 320 and 500 at $3. That was in race 5. $1,000 on Major Watson got home in the last. Some misses there. $1,000 bets on Gilligan Island at 270 and 250. There was $1,500 on Stickman at 210. $1,000 on Justin Sister at 550. And there were $1,000, $700 and a $500 bet all on Cast No Shadow at 320, and he just found one better in the Cup, but win a very good race nonetheless.
Most certainly, and of course the big meeting of the week in terms of New Zealand Cup week was of course Monday at Ashburton, and looks as though, as you mentioned here, Richard, punters, they're fired up and ready for action.
Yeah, they were fired up, and they were throwing the money around quite a lot, but it took them a wee while to get on the board. The first few races definitely going our way. Many good collects came, though. Rebel Kibby Bones in the Cyril Hay Memorial Trot, 500 at 850 and 200 at 8. They were the best, but there was over $500 bets on there, Jess, and of course owned, trained and driven by Cyril's son John. So a lot of sentimental bets there, I think, and they got the reward, a big win there. Marcoola, the big mover for the whole week really, opened at 280, the second favourite, closed 195, and wow, just an unbelievable win, 12 lengths, and anybody that was on had nothing to worry about. Could have popped away, made a cup of tea, come back, got the money. 1,100 on at 260, 4,000 at 240, 2,000 at 195. They were the best bets there, but there was plenty more as well. A couple of misses there. $4,000 on, there was actually a win on Namira Frago. 4,000 to run top 3 at 210, got home race 7. Then Spankham got some big bets home in the Flying Stakes as well. 3,300 on at 280, 4,750 and $600 bets, all at the 260. So he's now pretty much cemented as the Cup fave. I think he's still 230, so worth having a look there. And the last race was bad for us, Above and Beyond, 12,000 on at 145, 1,300 and $1,400 bets at the 140, and then a $2,000 bet at 135. And again, not too much to worry about there for the punters. A few misses saved us from a complete disaster. $1,000 and $5,000 bets on Heisenberg at 230. It was 2,600, never mind, at $3. 2,500 each way on Ivana Flyby at 550 and 2. There was 1,500 on Sam Scara at 7, and 5,000 just to run top 3 on her at 230, and 4,000 on Valoria to run top 3 at 215.
Okay, and of course every week, Richard, you find a multi and cash out options for us, and as has been the case in recent weeks, the multi players really look to have been rewarded.
Yep, there's a John Hay fan out there, $85 2-leg multi at Ashburton, Rebel Kibby Bones, at $850, onto Just Michael at 6. The $85 bet there to returned $4,335. And the cash outs, got a couple of cash outs here. The best one, $400 multi at Addington. They had Storm at $3, Amazing Dream at $125, and then ending on Qatar Yolande at $215, just to run top 3. Would have returned $3,147, but very wisely cashed out for $1,521 before Qatar Yolande faded to run 7th in the last race. And conversely, the worst cash out of the week, $1,500 multi line-up at 220 at Alexandra Park, and they were on to leaderboard at 380 in the last at Riccarton. So that would have returned $12,540, but was cashed out for $2,481 mid-afternoon on the Saturday, Jess. So the nerves kicked in, and they cashed out before leaderboard got home by a neck in the last race at Riccarton.
Oh man, that would have absolutely hurt, but them's the breaks when you take that risk. Of course, futures markets, there'll be a few movers or a bit of movement in those after the feature racing from the past week or so. How are those markets looking for you and the team?
Yeah, the Cup's not looking too bad. There was a very good bet placed on Saturday evening. $10,000 on Marcoola to run top 3 in the Dominion at $2.80. He was now he's into 3. I've just changed it again, I think. $3.50 and $1.35 in that market there for the Dominion. The big mover the other way in that market is Sunday Sun. Late gallops in his last 2 starts, not looking good for Sunday Sun with only a couple of weeks to go. Other decent bets during the week, $500 on Bad to the Bone to win the Sire Stakes at 41, $500 on Majestic Man to win the Inter Dominions at 18, and there was a $380 bet on the Fixer to win the Cup at 5.
Nice. So tab.co.nz. Don't forget, punters, to check that out for not only those future markets, but the futures for the rest of the year for the features. And a busy week ahead, of course. Today you've got Manawatu racing.
Yes, today's Manawatu kicks off at just after 3 o'clock. So I'm patiently waiting here for that to kick off. And they go again on Thursday, of course. Methven and Auckland on Friday. That'll keep me busy. Forbury Park on Saturday. There's Kaikoura on Sunday and Monday, where the Kaikoura Cup, the Trotters Cup, and the $50,000 listed sales race go around. And then Cambridge on Tuesday. So there's not too many days for a spell coming up, Jess.
Yeah, well, you'll get no chance of a breather, really, from now until the end of the year, will you, with the Inter Dominions and the Cup week not too far away? Yeah,
no, it's all go. And I can just tell you there's one being backed today in the first at Manawatu. Let's see, 4,900 on Sundawn's Flyer at 180, and then another 3,500 at 165. So Sundawn's Flyer into 160, but a couple of punters are saying it's a good thing in the first.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Richard, and we'll catch you again next week with a wash-up, of course, after Kaikoura.
Yep, very good, Jess. Thank you.
Coming up, harness racing-wise this week, a very busy one. Thursday, we've got night 2 of the Manawatu meeting. On Friday, the Methven Twilight meeting will be held, and also Alexandra Park will compete on Friday evening. On Saturday, we have Forbury Park in Dunedin on Saturday. Sunday is, of course, day 1 of the Kaikoura meeting, with the Twilight meeting starting at around 3 o'clock. On Monday, we've got day 2 for Kaikoura at South Bay Racecourse. Of course, it is Alabar Kaikoura Cup Day. And on Tuesday, we're right back to harness racing action at Cambridge Waikato. Of course, it is Melbourne Cup Day next Tuesday. And that's it for this week's Harness Half Hour. Thanks to Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. A reminder to check out the HRNZ website and Addington website for important information for owners and licence holders over New Zealand Cup Week. And don't forget, the Harness Half Hour podcast is available on the HRNZ website, also on the HRNZ Facebook page, on the Punters Lounge, which is on tab.co.nz. You can also find us on Spotify and iTunes.